Numerous NXT wrestlers have made their main roster debut in the Royal Rumble over the years, from the likes of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, plus more. This is the perfect time to debut NXT wrestlers at the Royal Rumble. What's going on, everybody? In this video, I will be giving you 5 NXT wrestlers who can make their main roster debut. But before we get into that, if you want to see 3 celebrities who have wrestled in the Royal Rumble, click the link in one of these corners. A quick note before we get started. I know that some of these wrestlers have wrestled on the main roster debut, whether it be 1 or 2 matches. I know. But they're still competing in NXT, so I'm declaring this as once they wrestle in the Royal Rumble, they're done with NXT. First up is going to be Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate joined WWE and was signed to their NXT UK brand. While in NXT UK, he would go on to win the NXT UK Heritage Cup, the NXT UK Tag Team Championships, and he was the inaugural NXT UK champion at just the age of 19. In 2022, Tyler Bate joined NXT as NXT UK was shut down for the preparation of NXT Europe. NXT Europe was supposed to be launched by now, however, due to the Endeavor merger, it's not going to be launched until next year. And although Tyler Bate hasn't won any gold in NXT just yet, he remains one of the best in-ring wrestlers for the company. Plus, he's still young, he's only 26, and like I said earlier, he was the inaugural NXT UK champion at just the age of 19, so Triple H making you not only the inaugural champion, but at the age of 19, he must have a ton of faith in you. And Triple H should, because Tyler Bate is really good. Tyler Bate is undoubtedly ready for the main roster, and he could even be the person to dethrone the Ring General Gunther. Next up is gonna be Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is probably the most ready wrestler in NXT to get called up for the main roster. He's a former NXT Cruiserweight champion, a former NXT North American champion, and a former NXT champion in his own rights. And I know, he's currently in the tournament to declare the new #1 contender for the United States Championship. However, he's still wrestling in NXT. Currently, he's in a storyline with Trick Williams about who attacked Trick, but I think that's all gonna be wrapped up over the next month or so for the Royal Rumble. And like I said, I know he's wrestled a couple of matches on the main roster, but I think once he debuts at the Royal Rumble, he's going to be completely done with NXT. And I know they're probably not going to do this, but Carmelo Hayes would make an incredible United States champion if he were to go on to win the tournament. Carmelo Hayes is undoubtedly a future world champion, and he would be a great addition to either brand. Next up is going to be Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez signed with WWE in 2022, and she's probably one of their most talented signings in history. She's only 22 years old, and she has already proven that she's one of the best in-ring performers for WWE. She has already won the NXT Women's Championship, so there really feels like there isn't anything else for her to do in NXT. And I will say, them keeping Roxanne Perez in NXT because she is so young may not be the worst idea, because we have seen a couple of wrestlers in the past get pushed into the spotlight when they weren't ready and it didn't turn out so good. I think once you call up Roxanne Perez, she could be one of the biggest baby faces for the company, and fans would love to see her on the main roster. However, I'm not going to fault WWE if they choose to keep her in NXT for another year or two. Next up is going to be Cora Jade. Cora Jade recently made her return to NXT after she walked out of the company in July. Cora Jade signed with WWE in 2021, and although she hasn't had much success in terms of winning titles, she really found her footing over the past year or so. Similar to Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade is also only 22 years old, which is crazy to think about because she's super talented, so they may want to keep her in NXT for her next couple of years just to get her trained up a little bit more. However, if you ask me, I think she's ready for the main roster, and I think she would be a great fit for Monday Night Raw. I think putting her in a feud with a veteran like Natalya would really help elevate her. Feuding with a veteran is the best thing to do for these young wrestlers because they get to really show them the ropes, and they really get to help put them over. Jade has never won the NXT Women's title yet, so she might be on the list of people to never win the world title for NXT yet get called up to the main roster. That being said, WWE may want to wait to put the NXT Women's title on her to see how she does before calling her up to the main roster. And lastly, Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker signed with WWE in 2021. He's already a two-time NXT champion. However, he's been doing the best work of his young career ever since he turned heel, and he really found himself in this role. He's got the best spear in the game, and he is undoubtedly ready for the main roster. And although he has wrestled 2 matches on the main roster, he hasn't officially made that transition yet, as he's still competing in NXT. Similar to a couple of these other wrestlers, he is still young, however, he has seemingly done everything there is to do in NXT. And although some people may not be a big fan of his skills on the mic, I think they could easily put him with a manager, and that would really help not only get his mic skills better, but really help elevate him as a star. Plus, I'm a sucker for a good wrestler-manager duo. And he's currently in a feud with Von Wagner after he legitimately tried to murder the man, but I think that's gonna be wrapped up before the Royal Rumble. Plus, we've seen wrestlers in NXT in the past debut at the Royal Rumble, but then they sort of go off on NXT for the next month and then finish whatever they were doing there, and then they start on the main roster. This upcoming NXT class is so good. They have so much talent at such a young age. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do on the main roster. I'm just hoping that WWE uses them properly and no one just gets thrown to the curb. All right, that's going to wrap up the video. Let me know in the comments down below, what NXT wrestler do you think is gonna make their main roster debut? And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell in one of these corners so you get notified every single time we release a new video. We release new videos every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday.